Hello.
Hello.
So obviously we're doing UVG Mixing Online in the coronavirus outbreak. So ITV News. I feel like we're doing a loose segment.
The only news here is that I've stopped brushing my hair.
Yeah, and I've stopped washing it, so it's all good. It's fine. Every week, every other week, we're doing an interview of a musician around Portsmouth and how they're kind of dealing with the sort of lockdown crisis that we're all going through.
It's a bit of a crisis, isn't it, for us?
Very much so. We thought we'd start with you. Because you are a massive part of UVG, and obviously you teach and you're a musical director. If you want to tell us, for people who don't know you as much, do you want to tell us who you are and what you do?
Hi. Well, yes, my name's Amba Tremain. I and myself and Charlie Fletcher, we kind of started UVG way back. And I basically I was running the kids groups, and then we've developed the adult groups, and then it's just grown and people have kind of come in and kind of taken ownership of those things, and I slowly moved over into teaching at university. So yeah, I'm still actively busy as a musician. I'm still teaching AUVG. Obviously can't wait till we come back, and kind of overseeing a few things within UVG still, but I'm a musician, a lecturer, teacher, vocal coach. So music is life.
It is.
Yes.
The big question: how are you finding lockdown?
Well, I've made a few notes. I just want to double check that I get my answers right. But I actually, somebody asked me this the other day about how did I find lockdown, and I suddenly really thought about it, and I thought, my husband used to say to me, "Oh, do you know what? You'd be so bored if you had to sit still." Yeah. Or I could never imagine you sitting still. And I've been technically sat still for like 7 weeks, and I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm not saying that there aren't frustrations and complications, because there definitely are.
Yeah.
And very limited, and there are natural worries, but actually, how I'm dealing with lockdown is much better than I ever thought I would do, being confined to one place only. It's just allowed me to kind of chill, because I'm a very hectic person and a bit all over the place, and I feel rested. So as a musician, as a singer, as somebody who is prolifically all over the place and singing at one place and teaching at another, I feel like I've been able to give my body back its health. So that's the positive that I'm taking away. Do you
feel like you've given that sort of like TLC that you needed to?
I think I was in denial about how overstretched and how overworked my voice was.
What were you doing, like 6 gigs a weekend or something stupid like that?
Well, basically commuting every single day to Brighton, coming home, and then teaching some evenings, and sometimes practicing with bands and stuff in the evenings, Friday, Saturday, Sunday gigs. I think the one thing that has been the most beneficial is sleep and vocal rest, because you get up early to commute and go to work. It's just one of those things. I actually told myself, well, this is just my life, this is just how I am. Actually, it doesn't have to be like that. And I think this time has really helped me to gain some rest. And it was definitely needed.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Good answer.
There we go. Yeah, good answer.
Like you said in your little bit of bio at the beginning, the lockdown and stuff and how you're finding it, and you're obviously really hectic and stuff, and you're gigging actively every single weekend. How are you finding your career kind of changing? So kind of transitioning into a lockdown artist?
I think the first week or two, excuse me, I think the first week or two, I didn't even think that would be an option. I didn't even think, I actually thought that it would just be fun and something extra to do whilst we're home. I didn't consider from the moment that we went into lockdown, this is going to have to be a transitional period now for me. So I think week 3 was when I've kind of categorized each week. So I always say that week 1, depends when your week 1 started, but week 1 in general was like, we're British, we can do this, let's bake cakes, let's do PE in the front room, and we've been told we can go out for a small amount of exercise, we must suddenly exercise. it felt like that. And then week 2 everybody kind of woke up and was just a little bit confused about what day it was and why they hadn't got out of their pajamas for 3 days. And like, you know, and then we entered the Easter holidays and holidays. Basically, anyone who was homeschooling didn't have to do it anymore. So
didn't have to do the schoolwork.
Yeah, so we went into a bit like a, you know, like the summer holiday phase.
Yeah.
When you're like, you don't really know what day it is or what have you. And then week 3, I felt like that was the reality week where, for me, that's when the news changed, when the Prime Minister was...
Yeah, it all got a bit dark.
Like, the stats and the figures were coming out, the death tolls and those kind of things. And I think it hit a lot of people who are affected financially and creatively, you know, all those people. I think week 3 was when it sunk in that we were now going to have to make some changes to the way we do things. So week 3, I went through a bit of a lull and thinking, you know, I'd done a couple of online gigs and they went quite well, but they were for fun. And then I entered week 4 in business mode. I was like, that's it. Life is changing as of now. You know, I am a prolific live performer. I've always thought that that was my thing. And over the last sort of like 4 weeks after that, I've taken my live show to an online platform.
Yeah, just transition.
I think I've done it quite well, but I think I also have a long way to go and a lot to learn. But it's not like just not singing live anymore, and it just going online. Online is huge. It's you know, a bar might have 50 people in,
exactly.
and I might be entertaining those 50 people, and they might have a great time. Now we're looking at on some of the videos 5,000 people, and it's continually out there and it's continually rolling. So it is a transition. I always say to people, it feels like we've suddenly become live TV presenters.
Yeah, no, definitely,
And you know, and you have to be ready at any moment to kind of, you know, to be the presenter of your own TV show. You know, so that's
it's when you think about
transition. It's transition, but it's also exciting. So
very. Obviously, because your job, your whole life, your livelihood is music, and that's your earning and stuff. How have you found, like, obviously young UVG singers who have just started out gigging, getting a bit of pocket money and stuff to get their equipment and start building up their little business? How have you found the sort of income and pretty roughly?
Well, again, like I say, at the beginning, it didn't feel like this would need to be an option. Now it feels like it is the only option. And I don't think I went in with this with a financial plan, but I know that I have one now.
Yeah.
So, are you talking like in terms of how I've managed to sustain?
Yeah. How have you know, in terms of your gigs and stuff?
I actually, I haven't even looked at how much money I'd have lost. I haven't looked at what I would have lost in terms of gigs. I know it's a lot, but we also don't know how long this is going to go on for. So, you know,
not dwell on it really, can you? No.
Things can change at any moment, and so I'm not kind of looking into that too much. But I'm seeing how I can earn as I go now from this point onwards. So, what I've done is I took a bit of inspiration from another friend of mine who's a singer called Amy Baker. She's very, very successful, but she had merchandise, and I don't have merchandise. I don't have anything to give anyone. And so what I did, I took inspiration from her because she had like a donation link. Donate what you want, basically, which can be very fruitful. It can be, you know, lots of people do dig deep and give you money, but that can't be all the time, obviously. They might do it once. So I thought I'd take the donation link and turn it into like a tip jar, a bit like when you get tips when you're or when you're waitressing or whatever it is, you know, with the same kind of, you know, pay what you like type thing, no obligation. But I put it at the end of each live stream, and I was really, really shocked when I would stop my live stream and see that people had paid in.
Yeah.
And it kind of got me thinking, okay, well, what is it people want? You know, what is it that I do when I go out live that I can continue to do online? And actually, I thought long and hard about it, and people just want to have a good time. They want to have moments of normality, and they want to feel special.
Yeah.
And so those 3 things combined have kind of steered how I've worked online, and people are still willing to pay for that.
Yeah, so you just went really great the other week on your live stream, and I would say that whole, because you've done quite a few live streams over the last few weeks, there was kind of one dedicated to requests and dedications and happy birthdays and stuff and celebrations.
Yeah. I think this was the turning point, because up until this point I'd done my set online. So anyone who knew me, anyone who knew me were like, oh, it was good to hear you again, Amber. That was cool. But then there's a whole load of people that don't know me yet. So so what I thought I'd do is ask them what they wanted. And so then I said, who wants a shout out? Who wants a request? You know, give it to me. Obviously within reason. I'm not going to do everything. It might not suit me. But when you can personally, you know, give someone an experience, whether it's 5,000 people or 5 people, if you can include them in the experience, they are likely to tip you. They are likely to invest in you. And I was actually
to invest in you after all this is over too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Once you're online and your kind of your live streams are out there, they continue to generate, a bit like Spotify, a bit like streaming. So on average, money comes in to me after my live streams up to 3 days after my event. So it's still rolling, which is great. People who had requests, people who had shout outs, they love it. They'll tip you, they'll say thank you. And also I was able to do some private gigs. So I was able to do a date night thing where you could pay £10 to join. That was a trial. It worked and it was really, really good. I haven't gone back to that point yet, because at the moment I feel like the best thing that I'm doing at the moment is the Sunday, same slot, put the tip jar out, see what happens. And it's actually generating the same kind of income. It's kind of like forming a pattern now. So I know what to expect. I can almost budget. Do you see what I mean? I can almost predict how things are going to go. So it's another way of making an income, and it kind of like feeding into your kind of daily life, basically.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. To sidetrack it a bit, do you think that you've had more time to be like creative in different aspects of your business in the lockdown term?
I had right. Okay. When we went into lockdown, I thought that I was going to be like, right, well, I'm home now. I've got no excuse. I can write all of my songs. I can sit at the piano all day. I can just, no, it didn't happen. The realistic side of things was, I think a lot of change was happening, and I was still working for the university online. And then creating these gigs online, which I used to be able to just put my equipment in the car and then drive off to a gig, set up and look at my set list and go, oh, that's what I'll do tonight. Now I'm spending a week in preparation for a Sunday gig. I spend at least 3 days going through the music and requests and learning songs, at least 2 days getting the sound right, and then the whole of Sunday setting up. That it takes up my whole life. And so it's a really, really strange time, but also doesn't really leave that much time to be creative. But what it has done, rather than leaving me to be creative, it's actually given me more time to use the business side of my brain. Like before it was all creative, and I love writing songs and I wish I could just sit here and bang out another album, but at the moment my brain is fueled off like kind of business ideas and the way things.
You've literally got your weekly schedule. You're just doing it all at home. That's literally what it is now. So
I'm also teaching online. So I'm dealing with like kind of like one-to-one tuition. I'm also marking students' work. So it's all music based and it's all great, but actually it's tapped into a whole different area of my kind of of my brain. You know, it was the dream is to sit there and just lock yourself in the studio and write music, but actually my business brain has kind of come into action a little bit more.
What about hobbies? You got any hobbies? I know you have got some hobbies.
Gardening.
Gardening. Alan Titchmarsh.
Well, I say gardening. I say gardening in the loosest possible term. I don't have any grass. Well, actually, no, we've got grass in the front, and Sean's done a brilliant job. We've got a lovely rooftop terrace, which has been worked on, and I've done a gig up there. I'm going to do another one for Bank Holiday up there. But I have this like kind of courtyard space where basically the bins are, and you know the shed. And I in my head, I had a vision for a Parisian cafe. It's getting there. But this weekend I have the whole lockdown. I started growing plants, and I started off with like 3 houseplants, and then it kind of turned into like 10, and then I started a
You had the Amba Tremain rainforest.
Yeah, and I started a project outside, and then it was upcycling. So I've been painting furniture and
All that
fences.
today, yeah.
And now I've planted trees, and I've got about 500 flowers out there. I've got strawberries on the go, sunflowers, and yeah, this is my hobby. Yeah. And I used to mock mum. I used to mock my mother for talking to her plants, and now all of my plants have names.
Oh, wow.
It's true.
God. Look, well, they'll be over soon.
They haven't got names. They're like, hey, Spiky.
Oh, how are you doing today?
How you doing, Straubs? Like, I find myself saying sorry to my my bowl of basil. I was like, oh, dude, you're just not coping very well, are you, Basil? Yeah.
Me too.
But he's outside now in his herb garden, so it's fine.
Well, that's good. So your hobby is basically becoming the next Alan Titchmarsh, which is perfect. That's great. Yeah. That's great. I've got a couple more questions for you. Yeah. So you were talking about your live streams and how you've had I think you've had quite a successful online presence within the last few weeks, your last few live streams.
Sorry, my secret. This is good because I know that going out live and also thanks to things like UVG and the community kind of connection, that kind of presence was already there-ish. You know, I haven't just come out of nowhere. So we've been all of us have been working very, very hard to build ourselves up and become reputable entertainers. But I definitely feel like the success of the online stuff is predominantly down to the community connection. Like I used what I've learned and who I've become through things like UVG and tapped into the community. Like I looked at where my like kind of community pages were on Facebook. I looked at platform works for me. I am more of a Facebook platform person, I think probably because of my age and the age of the people that I know that use it a lot. I've looked at things like Instagram and I can see the benefits of Instagram, but for me, live streaming on something where, you know, if you want to do something else, you have to quit out of it. It doesn't really have, I felt like a 2-hour live stream was just going to not be seen on Instagram. So I know my platform, and then I looked on Facebook and I looked at my community groups, and then within those community groups, I posted certain things like, oh, hello, I'm going to be doing this gig. Would anybody object to this? It's going to be on the rooftop. It went crazy. And then I realized how supportive people in Portsmouth are, especially in your local area. They really champion you. That's a really, really important thing about Portsmouth, I think. Yeah. So I had some support for a particular gig. And then after that finished, and I realized that like 7,500 people had seen it, and people had put into my tip jar, and then little ones were drawing pictures and posting them through my door, and some flowers turned up because I'd given people a good afternoon and they felt special. And I thought, okay, so this is people wanting to feel good and tapping into your community. So now every single week I post in those pages, inviting people to the next one or sharing a video that I've posted, and everyone seems to be really, really supportive. So yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think that's been a successful kind of element to this. That makes, you know, I've utilized what I have. I haven't gone to the paper. I haven't, you know, I'm not looking to go viral with some crazy dance routine or something. Do you know what I mean? I'm just kind of. You know what I mean? I ain't no TikTok queen, but I understand how these things can have, like, they can generate a, you know, kind of a big following and stuff. But I just think it was important for me to do what I do. Yeah. But invite people in. There's no point doing something and then just hoping someone sees it. You have to encourage those people, and you have to know what they want. And what they want is to feel good, feel special, feel inspired, feel like there's a bit of hope, and that they have been included in something. And it's worked, and it's working.
Really good. I love your live streams. We watch them all the time. With a little wine.
It's quite weird. I'm also encouraging people, with their permission, to send me video footage, and I get a lot of footage, and I get to take a lot of screenshots and things. I'm planning to build all this up to something. I also started a separate page just for these live streams, although I'm including it across all my pages because that's a bigger audience.
Yeah.
I set up a specific page so that I could share other people's things and actually tag them in it. And people like to see themselves. People like to see themselves chatting. They like to see when I've acknowledged them. They like to see when, if they've donated, me thanking them. Do you see what I mean? And actually, I feel like it's a combination of having a good time and also being acknowledged.
Definitely.
So yeah.
One last question for you. Do you think live music especially will change after this, and why?
Yes, I do. I think that everyone, ranging from, you know, the nurse who works around the corner to the acoustic guitarist who relies on this kind of, you know, money for his living, to the restaurant owner, I think everyone has a different view on what is right and what is wrong. So I don't think when the ban suddenly gets lifted, everyone's going to have the same opinion still. No. I think everyone's going to be different. I think it will affect people. It's going to definitely affect businesses. But one thing's for sure is that when we do start phasing back to normal, you know, these restaurants and things, okay, everyone's taken a hit financially, but they're going to want to build that back up again. So I think that everyone is going to be desperate for entertainment. So I actually think for musicians, I think when we get the official go ahead, there will be an abundance of work. I think everyone will be in there. Everyone will be going back to normal.
I see some musicians already queuing up to get.
Yeah, well, I've taken bookings already, like for when it reopens, or so many for next year, which is great. And actually, a lot of that's come off the back of my live streams, which is great. But actually, I think the one thing that I'm going to change when all this returns back to normal is that I'm going to continue the live streams. I'm going to continue working online, because one thing that has really come out of all of this, which I keep getting messages about, is I'm so glad I got to see you live. I can never get to one of your gigs.
Yeah.
And I suddenly thought to myself, there are 100 people that might be in a room at a gig, but there was 1,000 people that couldn't go to that gig. And it's about offering those people the same chances, if not more, because they might have small children, they might be carers, they might work nights, you know, they might not have any money. It's just, there are a whole host of reasons why somebody can't come out and spend the whole of a Friday night drinking and watching you play live music. And actually, I feel like what I've done is I've given myself a platform for that. So I'm gonna utilize, as soon as this all goes back to normal, I'm gonna continue to utilize my online platform. And actually, I think it's good for my mental health. I think it's good for my mental health, my physical health, not to keep putting myself through lots of stress and late nights. Actually dedicate something, you know, to working from home. I think this is going to be a huge thing for a lot of people. It forced me to set a recording studio up at home, and I've been able to take on work recording from, you know, my kind of little studio room. So yeah, I think some venues are going to take some getting used to, because I think that there's going to be some people out and about that would just take it too far. It might get a little bit rowdy. I think that some people are going to assume it will go back to normal, but I don't think it will. I think it depends how proactive you are now. If you're getting in those bookings, if you're looking to keep those ties with your venues, then that work will still be there. But yeah, I mean, like I say, it's not going to go back to normal. I don't think there is going to be normal now. Just like I've been making the comparison, like when Spotify and streaming came around, people thought that was the death of music. They were like, you know, that's it, music is gone, our you know, our physical sales will plummet, no one will buy a CD anymore, this is going to ruin life. But it didn't ruin life. It just literally, it was the next wave of technology.
That's why you had to really.
And I feel like this, although forced upon us, forced upon me, forced upon everyone, would have been how things would have gone. And it's happened a lot quicker. And for me, this is the next like technological advance in music. So, you know, that's how I see it.
I think also in terms of like the live streams and the online gigging, and it's because it's not always, you know, in front of on a stage in front of loads of people. Any like young musicians starting out, or anyone just wanting to do a bit of live performers, there's no harm in doing a live.
I also think that some people were afraid to do live streams or go live because of how it might make them look. I know for one, myself, my very first live stream in lockdown was in place of a So Far Sounds event that I was going to do, that you were going to do with me. And that was to showcase my original material. And I felt a little bit stupid about continuing a gig on that night, showcasing my original material, even though I really, really wanted people to hear it and to play. I felt a little bit like, you know, in basic terms here, like I love myself a bit. Oh, I'm going to do a live stream because people must want to watch me. But people did want to watch it. And it made me feel good. And then the next time I did one was a big bank holiday gig, and it was really well received. And then, you know, I had to get over myself a bit and be like, actually, what we've got now is we have an opportunity to do the things we've always wanted to do, to sing to people, to share our stuff. And actually, we have the perfect excuse for doing it. We've got nothing else to do. We're bored, we're creatives, we're stuck indoors. No one else can really see.
The best out of a bad situation, really. Yeah.
We would have been in a pub, but we're not going to be in a pub tonight. We would have been doing a concert with our choir, but we're not doing a concert now.
No, it's been so horrible looking at our calendars.
So let's do this. We've got the excuse. And I think what it is once you've done one, once you've pulled that plaster off and you've gone live and you've had, you know, people watching you and saying, well done, that was awesome, you know, great song. One, we're musicians, we're creative people, we need that encouragement. We need to feel like we're on the right track, we're doing something. It's good to have feedback, and you know, and two, you know, why not? Exactly. You know, why shouldn't we? You know, at the end of the day, people are showcasing every single day. Somebody's putting up a new run or gym route they've been doing. You know, they're proud of that. So if you're a singer, be proud of it. And put it up there. You can select who those people are watching if you're, you know, worried about it. Set up private events and just invite people in. But we should be proud, and we shouldn't let it slip. You know, we should either be using this time to rest or thinking about what we're going to do next.
Definitely. I just had a quick question that popped into my mind as you were speaking then. Obviously, you're in so many bands, your original, your Soul Session, Diva Review, and also Blame Jones and stuff. How are you dealing with the whole collab sort of thing at the moment?
Again, one of those things that I had all the intentions of doing, but we're all at different levels and different stages of, say, equipment and experience. So actually, what in my head, you know, a couple of the bands, I think all we've really been able to do, as you know, is look at like potential new songs and set lists and get everyone on the same page. There are some more kind of plans I'm going to put out to some people about coming back strong, you know, that kind of thing. With the Blame Jones, we usually record every week for Spotify. We've taken a break. You know, we had stuff in the bag ready to go out, so we're just letting that do its thing. And so we took a bit of a break with that one. And we've got I've got like a rock band. And we're planning to do a little recording, a little thing in lockdown. But again, we've not put a time scale on it really. I've actually been collaborating with other people that aren't in my bands.
Talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so all the people that you're with all the time that you miss, and you know, we have like band chats and stuff where we're all desperate to get back together again. I think because we know we will, it's okay. But now there are lots of people that kind of message you saying, I'm doing a charity event. Would you be able to do like a thing with us or a live stream with us? And it's really exciting to work with different people. And I've just done a lockdown duet with somebody. So that's really good fun. And I didn't know her before. We just kind of came across each other, and she's a great session singer and I do my thing. And she was like, let's do a duet. So we've just done The Boy Is Mine. So we've gone full R&B on this. And so, yeah, and it's good fun. And I've done some recording collaborations, one which was released on Friday with Strats. We've just done a new song together, and I've just been sent today the brief for another song, so I'll be recording that and working on that. And actually it's being unable to go out to work has brought more work to me.
Definitely. It's being proactive too, isn't it? And just making the most of it. I think that's everything that a thing that everyone has to take away is just kind of making the best out of a bad situation.
I just think you just need to not, I don't think you have to remind people you're there. It's not a case of, hey, what about me? It's more about, hey, this is what I do and this is what I do now. And if you'd like to be a part of that, and just, you know, constantly, I'm pretty good at like doing a live stream, and then I spend the next day chopping up all the video, and I distribute small amounts of that, and I remind people of what's coming up, and then I'll tag people, and then I might wait to see what's happening. Like for instance, VE Day. I'm not a jazz singer. I'm not an old big band singer. I don't know any wartime songs, maybe one or two. I couldn't have given anything nostalgic or vintage. Or I'm not one of those people. I wasn't going to go upstairs and put pink curls in my hair and sit there pretending to be something that I'm not. There are some brilliant singers who specialize in that, and that's their thing. What I do is I give an honest performance of something. So if I really connect with a song, either lyrically or musically, or I feel something, then I'll do a version of that. And I knew VE Day was coming up. I had a lot of people saying to me, are you going to be out on Friday doing some singing? Because that's what they wanted. It wasn't my thing, but I wanted to make sure that people knew I was thinking of them when they asked me those things. So I recorded my version of We'll Meet Again. It was a version that's very true to me. It was simple piano. And I put the video out, but I was thinking with my business brain, because I knew that everyone would do it on Friday. So I released it Thursday night.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So it meant that you have to be forward thinking. You have to think ahead. You have to think of things strategically and from a business point of view, not just from a creative point of view. I didn't want to get lost.
No.
So I released it the day before, and it meant that had picked up momentum. People were seeing it the next day. It's had over 2,000 views. And, you know, so again, it's what I love to do, but I'm thinking about it differently now.
Amazing. I've just looked down at my little space. I just saw this.
What's that? Ah, that's my CD.
CD. I was like, whenever I see that picture, I think, oh, it looks like Rihanna. You know when that
got the red hair. That's what I look like. I look like Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Can't you see? I apologise for my hair. Anybody who's watching this.
Oh, mine's greasy, so it's all good. One last thing, if anyone wants to check out your music or anything, where can they find you? Okay, so pretty simple actually. If you just type in Amba Tremain, but AMBA, lots of people put AMBER and it's not ER, but AMBA Tremain, TREMAIN, into YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. The first things that will come up are my channels and my pages, so you can see them. On Facebook, I'm Amba Tremain Official. That is my music page where I share my original material, but also my normal page, Amber Goodwin Tremain, is open and public, and I share everything musical. So it's not just about my original music. And yeah, my YouTube channel, I've just put tons of videos up there now. There's hundreds of videos up there. I'm trying to document all of the live stream process. So there's lots on there. But yeah, on Twitter, Amber Tremain, just simple. Simple, basic, cool. Perfect.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you, Olivia, for being a wonderful host.
You're welcome. It's really weird because we didn't mention once that we were sisters.
Oh, yeah, we are sisters. We are sisters.
I feel like we're very professional.
One thing I will just say is that we've been, and Olivia's been working really hard, and Kate and Faye and everybody else involved in UVG, everyone is trying to keep the UVG ethos and momentum alive. So what we're doing is each week we're offering something online. You're now going to add something different in with this, which I think is great. Kate's been working with the Guildhall and doing some sing-along sessions. I'm uploading every Thursday some bite-sized kind of glimpses and chunks of us learning the AUVG material, but it's also going out to the public. So it's not something people have to pay for. It's just something they have to get involved with if they want to. And if anyone has ever wanted to come to one of our groups or get back into singing, this is probably the best way to do it, because it's just down to you. You can see what we're doing. So that when we all get to go back in the room, if anyone wants to join us, the doors will be open.
Big party.
Yeah, big party. So every Thursday night, check out the AUVG Facebook page and you'll get to see our latest song updates.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I feel like it's coming to an end now.
It is.
I'll be sure to tune into your other ones.
Yeah.